Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70 Millimeter, a podcast for film lovers. Every Monday, I sit down to talk about recently watched movies with my dear friend and artist, Danny Haas.
You're definitely a Rolo guy.
And our own spiritual advisor, Protolexis.
Rolos. Every 50-year-old's favorite candy.
As we recorded this episode to the day, it's been 50 years since the release of The Godfather. And two hosts, believe it or not, have never seen it. How is this possible? Will they love it or hate it? Let's find out together.
How about this was the release day 50 years ago?
Thank you.
50 years ago today, Proto.
How did we do it?
Was this whose idea was this, or was this serendipitous? Was this Danny's idea? The day we record this was the day Godfather was released in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
God.
How do you feel about that, Danny?
I feel great. I picked it because I haven't seen this film before. Excited.
Let's just set the emotional stage for people that are checking out the show for the first time.
Mm.
Movie podcast, movie lovers. That's me. Don't shut it off when you hear that two of the hosts haven't sat down and watched The Godfather before. You know, we're all here on this planet together, going through life at our own pace.
Thank you.
How often do you get to hear someone's first impressions of The Godfather in this day?
Right.
Skip ahead, use the chapters if you want to jump right to the Godfather discussion, but that's our feature prezzo this week, 4K Godfather. Never been done. But there's been a lot of talk in our Discord this week that we need to jump into right now.
Oh, gosh.
And that is the deleted scene from Matt Reeves' The Batman featuring the Joker officially. We all sat down to watch the deleted scene, 5 minutes long.
Incredible.
Batman goes to visit him. They have a history a year ago. It's the almost anniversary of their something happening. Prado, what did you think of this scene? Barry Kogan.
What did I think of it? I was not expecting to get a deleted scene like this. I kind of like this, though. I like this much better than a post-credit scene. This is pretty cool to have them just drop a deleted scene from a movie that's very relevant and interesting online. And you can just like watch it like, whoa, here's another piece of this movie that we all loved. We all had a great time watching. And of course, you know, there was little tease of the Joker in it. So to have this, I wasn't expecting this, but I trust in Matt Reeves. That was my, I don't know if I love this or if I didn't think it was amazing. I think it's cool just to have more content, but I trust that whatever Matt Reeves wants to do with this character, whatever story he has to tell, after watching this first movie, I'm on board, you know? People are saying like Joker is played out. We've seen enough, want something different, but hey, I'll be there in the theater
for Matt Reeves. Danny, will you be there for Matt Reeves after this deleted scene?
Yeah. This deleted scene was fantastic. I really loved it, and I wish that this would have replaced the stupid Joker scene that we got, or just not even have the Joker in it at all. But this 5 minutes. I don't know. I liked it. I was afraid to get Ledger vibes from this performance. And I think the voice gets there for a minute, but there's also, I don't know, they're not trying to do comic booky. So if we're going to do these grounded Jokers, it's going to be hard to not compare to Heath's performance. Especially when you're doing the scarred up face and etc. But I think his motives and how they write that story for that Joker, I think it could set apart pretty nicely from Heath's. And I think Barry is a solid, creepy actor. he plays those kind of quirky, odd Paul Dano type roles very well.
Burned up head
Mm-hmm.
in that deleted scene.
Yeah, his head was all messed up. I mean, it was given very current Joker vibes from comics that we've seen more recently, post New 52, etc. So, I think it's pretty solid.
I initially was pretty turned off by the whole thing. I didn't like Barry pursing his lips together a la Heath. I was like, don't you dare make me hear your lips like Heath. You haven't earned that right, Barry.
You cannot take that from him.
And that was me. And then I cooled down a little bit, as I am wont to do. And I thought maybe they're just going to lean in. Maybe Heath's Joker is the best. Why bother making, crazy distinctions between that Joker, like the Jared Leto Joker? I don't know if we want to dig into that a little bit, but we don't have to. Let's continue on.
Snyder Cut.
And then, I was talking about the Suicide Squad one.
I blame the writing.
And then, so I'm kind of okay if they just want to maybe keep it in line with what we've seen so far. And also, I think Paul in our Discord had a suggestion. Maybe Joker just lives in the Arkham Asylum for the rest of this trilogy, if there is a trilogy, and he never really becomes a kind of like leading figure.
It would be cool, yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I love the fact that there isn't an introduction for the Joker, that it's just assumed that they have a relationship already. I think that's really smart, just to have like characters dropped in, skip the whole, who's this new character? Because it takes a half hour to introduce a villain in a movie. We can skip all that.
Yeah.
Right.
I like he had a great line to Batman as he was leaving that made Bats freeze, was about how he was happy about the crooked people dying. Like, just admit it that you were happy about these deaths. I really loved that line.
Yeah, me too.
Just get some good.
Get these politicians.
This is exciting. I mean, this is cool content to have come out after loving this film.
When's the Steelbook coming out? Can you imagine the Best Buy Steelbook?
God, what if there's like these 5-minute, villain dossiers in this deleted scenes, other villains that are in Arkham?
Also, like, you're getting Barry Keoghan to be Joker. I wonder if he's like signed on for future movies. Like, that's got to be like a multi-deal. You don't just sign up for one movie and then see what happens.
I don't know.
Right?
If we're introducing Robin, like I really want Matt to do.
No, they're not.
They're going to have Joker for some multiples.
Cut the stream. I'm going to mental note edit a Robin talk out from the podcast.
Danny, are you guaranteeing that we're getting Robin in the second movie?
I'm not. I'm just wishing. It's just big wish for me. I want some Nightwing so bad.
Just a quick note. We mentioned last week about our friends at Movies Anywhere slid into our DMs one more time last week, and a lucky live chatter from our community won a bundle of 5 movies to redeem on Movies Anywhere from Oscar season. The Oscar fever is fever pitch. I think as this episode drops officially, it would have been last night. But the comment of the night wins a bundle from Movies Anywhere, including West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, Belfast, King Richard, and the most controversial film that we've ever covered on this podcast, episode 91, Dune.
It's a great bundle. I would love to have that bundle. I think there's 3 movies on there I haven't seen.
Bruno might need this bundle more than whoever wins this contest.
Yeah, whoever wins this, DM me. We can work something out.
So Movies Anywhere, as we mentioned before, we actually do use Movies Anywhere all the time. If you have movies in Apple TV, Prime, and you don't have them all in one spot, you can actually just link all those accounts to Movies Anywhere and use them in one app. Legalese time. Please. The digital code can be redeemed on Movies Anywhere only. Registration with Movies Anywhere required. Open to U.S. residents 13 and older. Sorry. Download the free Movies Anywhere app or visit moviesanywhere.com to redeem your code. Usually at this point of the show, we talk about what movies we watched this past week, but I don't know if either one of you have watched any movies this week, right? Danny, did you watch anything?
I will say that The Godfather has consumed my life this week.
Wow.
And that's all I'll say right now. For another 4 minutes till we start.
He watched the other 2.
I didn't.
Did you?
I didn't.
Oh my!
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I actually, all the stuff that I watched too, when it started digging into 2 and 3, I had to stop watching it because I didn't want to be spoiled. Because I honestly have no idea what happens.
That's amazing.
I'm very excited.
Wow. We could talk about the Halo TV show.
Do it.
You can.
That officially came out.
You hated it.
We're hardcore Halo fans. We grew up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Many friends I met on Xbox Live playing Halo. So they finally had the first episode out on Paramount Plus. And I watched it today, right before dinner. I snuck it in. I liked the I watched the trailer ahead of the time. I thought it looked pretty rad. Some people were bad out of shape that it might not follow exactly the game's storyline, but I was kind of fine with that because the games have been done to death. Like, I can't think of a video game campaign that bores me faster than Halo at this point.
Also, I couldn't tell you what the storyline anymore was.
The Flood,
I don't even remember it. The Flood, the
Forerunners,
Covenant,
Halo,
all the things.
Master Chief going bad.
Yeah.
So I did watch the pilot or whatever, this premiere. I thought it was fine. I got like hardcore, I say this a lot, but like Red Camera vibes. You know, like for anyone that has watched The Matrix Resurrections, it had a certain look because it was filmed with a certain camera, and it worked pretty well for Matrix because we felt like it was just going for a different visual style than the other ones. But this one feels like a TV show, and it kind of works against my love of the show in that way.
Are we getting domed in this show?
No, I mean, the first half of it takes place in like an outdoor. Do you remember in Mad Max Road Warrior where there was like this like mini city built up in the desert?
Yes.
And they were like hoarding gasoline. It's kind of like that. So the whole set piece is almost like a Universal
Guzzling.
Studios like set piece stunt show. And
oh, really?
yeah,
Nice.
it starts out with the insurrectionists actually, you know, hating the Marines, and they're fearing that the Marines are going to like come attack them, but the Covenant actually comes, and then the Spartans have to come save them. So it's like this big stunt piece, and some of it looks pretty cool, but some of it also just looks like dudes in Master Chief cosplay running around a little bit.
Does it feel like Sci-Fi Channel-esque, like Battlestar Galactica?
Wait.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, it's like if Battlestar Galactica was filled with red cameras in 2022.
Okay.
So I liked Battlestar Galactica a lot, though.
I did too. Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, like, would you want a Halo in Battlestar Galactica vibes? If you do, then maybe you'll enjoy the show.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's not what I would expect from this. At least from what I saw in the trailer.
The trailer made it look like an expensive movie.
Yeah.
The show is more sci-fi original. So for better or worse, that's kind of where I land on it.
I'll give it a go.
We should say hello to a new patron this week. Spencer joined us at 70mmpod.com. Uncut episodes. And our Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix episode just went out to supporters. Party, you had a great time during that recording. Any fond memories as you went back to watch Order of the Phoenix?
Well, that was the one movie that I got to watch this week. My daughter was, excited that we're back to watching Harry Potter. As was I. We did our tradition of running over to the Wawa. Got some slushies, as they call them. I got a Reese's. They have the Reese's cups, but with like the Reese's Pieces inside of the cup. Have you guys seen this?
Oh, baby, yes.
Yeah.
I got myself a pack of those, and let's just say that was the best part of the movie.
You ever had a Take 5 bar?
Oh
yeah.
Take 5 is probably my number one candy.
Ever. That's interesting.
Wow. That's high praise.
What's wrong with Take 5, Danny?
No, it's a great bar. Ever is interesting.
I mean, I also love Rolos. Rolos are probably at the top of my list as well.
You're definitely a Rolo guy.
Oh my gosh.
What does that even mean? A Rolo guy.
Old man in the pocket Rolos.
Every 5th-year-old's favorite candy. Rolos.
Where are my Rolo fans at in chat? Please.
Rise up.
Golly. Sarah, thank you. Mike, you're banned. Sorry, Mike is gone. Someone take care of that, please.
Right next to his butterscotches.
No, I'm not a butterscotch person.
The sounds of the butterscotches unwrapping.
Ay, caramba.
Don't you dare call me a butterscotch person.
Should we drift into the main course?
Yeah.
The Godfather. We could have a lot of notes. We couldn't have not a lot of notes. You know, this is allegedly the greatest film ever made. We'll see. We'll be the judge of that, actually.
Thank you.
In 2022. So I'm sucking down my Rolos watching this film.
You can't say that.
Pardo, what is The Godfather?
Vito is the Don of the Corleones, one of 5 crime families that operate in New York City. When Vito declines involvement in the rising market of narcotics, Don Tattaglia and Solanzo put a hit out on Vito. Gunned down while buying bell peppers, Vito miraculously survives. While recovering, his son Santino takes the reins, but his hot head leaves him careless and exposed, leading to his death. Michael, Vito's younger son and hero of the war, who was separated from the family business, is left with no choice but to get involved. It is soon evident that Michael is the heir, containing the composure, intelligence, and patience that is required to fulfill the role of family Don. With the 5 families in chaos, Michael must act to save the business, the family, and become what his father was, the Godfather.
Our dear friend Vontmer playing in the background right now. Is he the greatest living musician? I ask you.
I mean, everyone just heard it. Okay. Yeah, I think it speaks for itself.
We'll have a link in the episode notes for you to check out Vontmer's beautiful music on Spotify or wherever you listen to your beautiful music. 1972. Danny, you have never seen this movie before. Ever. But you have the DVDs.
I have the VHSs and I have the DVDs. I now have the 4Ks. And here we are, 2022.
2022.
Yeah, I think the most that I know of all my education of The Godfather comes from You've Got Mail and everything that Tom Cruise said in that, or Tom Hanks says in that movie. You know, what do I pack? Went out summer vacation, leave the gun, take the cannolis. What day of the week it is? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know,
right.
So that was my Godfather education.
How did it feel to watch this and see the context for all those?
You know,
things?
it is insane to get all the context. And you know, it's really funny. Casey and I, this is our first time watching it. Even like I don't know the story. And when Vito gets gunned down in the street, we both were like, is he already killed off of the movie already? So it was great to just kind of not really have this movie at all spoiled, which is really wild to me. I mean, only thing I really feel like I knew from this movie is the intro office scene. That feels like the most iconic kind of stuff from this.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think I know about this movie mainly from Simpsons homages throughout the years. And I feel like there was a Leslie Nielsen spoof where he died with his young like grandson in the fields. Some kind of Mafia. Mike Scott says Mafia ! That is probably where I've seen most of this stuff. So I also went in pretty much like impossible to be spoiled. Like the halfway, like even any of the scenes in the restaurant with Michael, the whole thing, I was like a brand new viewing, even though I feel like I've seen most of these scenes in different ways, whether it be YouTube clips or homaged in some kind of TV show. So it was pretty special viewing, in my opinion, for me. But part of when did you first see The Godfather?
I think I've seen it twice before. I remember the first time thinking that it was slow and kind of struggling to get through it. And also just hearing, like, growing up, I don't remember anyone talking about The Godfather, but always talking about The Godfather Part 2. You know, 2 is the best one. That's the movie, yada, yada. So I never really heard much talk about this. And I think that watching it even now, I wouldn't say I was like entirely sure of the entire plot of the main stuff, but I almost get like Christopher Nolan vibes watching this movie, where it's kind of tricky to follow what's going on between the characters and the families and who's after who. Like if you like aren't dialed in, I feel like for the most of the movie, it's easy to kind of lose pace of what's going on. How did you feel like it all made sense as you were watching it?
It did for me. I think by the halfway point, like it's almost like at the very halfway point is when Michael needs to go in hiding. And it's almost like two different movies at that point. And him in Italy, and then later you could tell that there's some time passing because like his son is growing up, and you're like, oh, okay, we're progressing pretty quickly through the current state of this family. But it was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I think that was only bit that I couldn't wrap my head around towards the end was how much time has passed before, while he was in Italy. And then when he says he's back for a year already to Kay, he's been back for a year and she didn't even know it. So they'd been apart for 4 years, but didn't really feel like that because everything in Italy happens quite quickly. But it also still kind of feels well constructed. This whole kind of story, almost like I'm not missing it, but it begs to be watched again multiple times.
Yeah. So we'll talk about each host has 3 things that we want to call out in our discussion. Then we'll give our honorable mentions and then our final rating. We touched on it a little bit, and this was in my Letterboxd review. About how
you're grinning. Just say it. You're smiling.
I mean, you talk
right
about Obama meddling Obama. My Letterboxd review for this movie: Michael meets a girl in Italy, marries her, and then she explodes all in the same weekend. He still has the shiner from when he got punched by the cop. And he finds someone, marries her, and then she's dead all before his face heals. Like, he's not there that long. He is moving very quickly in Italy as new Michael. And that just cracked me up. I mean, also, I zeroed in on the exploding car, but like, you could see like her corpse hanging out of the car. You can see her leg just hanging out from the exploding car. 4K. It was insane. Oh my God. The 4K of her dead leg was off the charts. Pardo, what'd you think of the Italy Michael in hiding?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the scene that it leads to of him killing those guys in the room. We'll talk about that scene. But yeah, he's there so quick. And the thing that I thought watching it this time is how I think this movie, well, for one, I think it does communicate the passage of time so well through just different techniques of communicate, like through children's ages, people just, offhand saying, how long they were somewhere. Because a lot of time does pass, but it keeps you kind of like dialed in through hints as to how far things have gone. But also just like that idea of what the passage of time is doing to like this family and their business and what it means to be a crime family, and that kind of like the times are changing, and that Vito was a certain kind of Don that is dying out, that can't exist anymore. And then Michael has to come into this role and kind of really like innovate in being a crime family in some ways. And I kind of took the whole, Michael goes to Italy. He tries to marry the Sicilian girl, and she gets killed. And then he comes back and he marries his American wife. And almost so that, that's just a metaphor for just like the changing of the times for them. Like the old ways, the Sicilian ways of like the Italian way of running the business doesn't work anymore. And we're in America now, and the world is changing around us, and we have to change with it. So I thought that was kind of like a nice, just symbol of that.
I mean, how fast, talking about the passage of time, is it Sollozzo? How fast does he move on them? Right? Yeah. When they say that we don't want to take part in the drug business, we're not going to front the $1 million. And then he's like, go check out this family, see what they're up to. That guy gets murdered right away. And then they're moving fast to destroy them. I thought that was insane how quickly things progressed right after that meeting.
Well, how about being in a line of work where you just got to kill people all the time? Like, is there any other way to work things out? It's just like we are killing people all the time. It's just, it's one of the, it's on the Kanban board, kill Luca Brasi.
I mean, even how he gets killed too. That is brutal. All the murders in this movie are extremely brutal to see. Very like realistic and I don't know, just horrifying to see. Danny, what's number one on your list?
Number one for me is the Michael storyline. I can't get over how well crafted his corruption is from this movie. Because when we see him at the wedding party, he's just, this is my family, this isn't me. And then when we get him, when he comes back, he's in Vegas and he tells Fredo, don't talk against the family. Like he's now, like there's this amazing 3-hour journey of Michael that I just couldn't get over how well crafted this was. And I love young Pacino. I really love young Pacino. His old movies are incredible, but there's something about him in this film. I really loved him in this.
My note, one of my top 3 is Al Pacino, the coolest MFer alive. I mean, he's got like a swagger, a calm swagger in this movie.
Yeah, and every situation he's put into feels high pressure, but he's so cool. The one of the best is him having to move Vito in the hospital. That scene, I was so well shot too. I mean, every interior scene in this movie, Francis is filming it with one light bulb lit, and it still looks amazing. Like I couldn't get over how incredible this looked. But that hospital scene just was next level.
Yeah, and the score behind that scene, it does so well to carry the tension.
So good.
Of like something like dreadful is about to happen if he doesn't figure this out right now. Yeah, that's such a great scene.
Did Roger Deakins shoot this movie? Cinematography was so good.
You're gonna have to cut that. I'm pissed.
Yeah, Pacino is wild in this because it doesn't feel like. It feels so different than what I expect or what Pacino is in my mind. Yeah. So seeing this calm and collected character, and I love how he's so much like his father. He's so much like the Vito character. And I love how that plays out in the other sons as well. Like Santino is obviously like the heir, but he's not his father, and he's too hot. And there's no way this would ever work. But you can see there's so many great scenes where all of the sons like share aspects of their father, but like Michael truly is his father in the way that he thinks and the way that he operates. Because often like they have the same idea. Like Santino's like, we have to kill these guys, and we're gonna drive out there and we're gonna kill them. And then Robert Duvall is like, you can't do that. You'll have all the cops after you. You'll get us killed. But Michael, he's like, yeah, we have to kill them, but we're gonna do it a smart way. Like every point, like they're on the same page, but it's just that Michael and Vito know how to operate. And Michael just carries that trait of thinking through things and knowing how to operate this business the way his father did. And I just love that, of like that picture of the sons and their father.
Yeah. I joked. It's not actually, Deakins did not shoot this movie. It was Gordon Willis Jr. He did the entire trilogy. Also did Manhattan, Clute, and The Parallax View, just to name a few. Oh, Money Pit with Tom Hanks. The Devil's Own, Presumed Innocent, a couple of Harrison Ford movies. Okay. All right.
Journey.
Proto, what's your number one?
Okay. We kind of were talking about stuff. Oh yeah, so much of this movie, I think if seeing it where so much of it is in popular culture, it feels so like the scenes feel cliche in some ways because you see them in everything else, but they're also like the most iconic to me. They're like the most iconic versions of these scenes of like, putting a guy in a car, driving him out somewhere and killing him. The sleep with the fishes scene with just like all the mob stuff that happens in this, strangling guys. I mean, how many windshields are blown out? Maybe they should think of a different approach to killing guys in cars. But there's so many scenes in this movie that feel like, oh, I've seen stuff like this in other mobster movies. But these versions, I just felt like, man, it just looks so good. And there was just the way it's shot. It just feels so iconic.
Yeah, the cinematography in this film is absurd. There are so many beautiful moments. The wheat field scene with the Statue of Liberty in the background.
My word.
Duvall on the movie set in between the buildings walking through. Michael peering through the hospital door frame.
Yeah.
Flexing very hard a lot of this movie. And you talked about the like iconic, scenes to the point of cliched. You could even just like watch this movie with someone for the first time and be like, yep. Yeah, that
right.
Yeah, that one, that scene. You could do that 100 times in this movie.
Yeah.
Because you've seen so much of this elsewhere. So it was pretty fun to experience that.
I felt like the Leo meme pointing at the screen every time it was something that I knew from this movie but without even seeing this movie.
Yeah. My number 2, still on Al, our sweet boy, the restaurant scene. When he meets the cop and Sollozzo, this might be the most stressful scene in movies that I've ever seen.
It's insane.
Like, going through this, I couldn't remember. I remember him reaching for the gun, and this might be another mafia scene where, like, the gun falls in the toilet. So I was like, what happens with this gun? Does he get this gun? Does this actually happen? Or is this some other movie I'm conflating it with where someone drives by and kills everybody and he escapes? So I couldn't remember what happened. And when he comes back from the bathroom, like, I feel like I started sweating because I couldn't remember what was going to happen, if he was going to do it. It is an all-timer. Like, it's legit. So good.
And Al's performance alone, he does I love, this caught Casey and I off guard, the Italian not being subtitled in this moment.
Yeah.
We were like, crap. So then we went and rented it somewhere else, thinking that the version we had wasn't correct. So we rented it on, I don't know where, Amazon or somewhere. And then we were like, oh, this is meant to be like this. So we had to start the scene over. But Al, I couldn't get over how you could watch in his face and his eyes and his mannerisms contemplating what he's about to do.
Yeah.
It was impressive. And when he can't find the gun, I was like every pore of my body was sweating. I was like, oh no, the gun's not there. What's he going to do? And then even up to the killing, when he shoots that cop in the throat, honest to God, I thought he really shot that man in the movie. I don't know. Yes. It looked way too real. Like, because it wasn't like, oh, I've been shot, I'm going to fall over. He does a thing with his mouth. He like can't breathe because he was shot. Like, there was something way too correct with how that would actually look that it really unsettled me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's so
and then
true.
I'm like, shoot him in the head. You got to shoot him twice. So you were told to shoot him twice. These are the rules. Please shoot him again.
Yeah, I love that too. I think it adds to the tension of not knowing what they're saying. You know, when he's like, yeah, is it all right if we speak in Italian? And then it's like, wait, what's going on? Yeah, that just works so well. And I've seen this multiple times, this scene, and I couldn't remember. I was expecting him to walk out of the bathroom and just immediately shoot them. So when he doesn't, he hesitates and then he sits down. I'm like, oh, Michael, you crazy fool. Like, he's so cool and collected. And that just like speaks to like this character throughout like the rest of the movie. I mean, cause he's so cool in this. Another scene like that is, when he goes to Vegas to confront Mo Green and his brother Fredo. And Fredo is like screwing everything up, siding with Mo Green and being like, Michael, what are you talking about? But he doesn't like lose his cool even after Mo Green leaves. And he's just like, Fredo,
you're my older brother and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever.
And like, he's so like, he never loses his cool. And like, that is so amazing of this character. Like he's just so cool. Like the fact that there was no like learning steps for him. He's just like a natural born killer to be a Don. And that's like he's like a super Don. And it's so cool to see this character come in and just do that.
The one time I was starting to like actively question if he was making the right moves, because he tells Tom that he's not the consigliere anymore. And check the box. And he hires as his right-hand man, Carlo, this is Carlo, right? The abusive husband of his sister. And I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on here? End this guy's life immediately. Your poor sister, who exists in this movie only to get beaten, apparently, according to what I saw on film. I was so annoyed, and I was shocked that Trainer in chat, the abusive husband could be anyone. Sorry, sad but true. I was confounded by it, and eventually, he does get the information out of him, but I don't know. Couldn't he have gotten the information out of him at that point? Did he really need to wait that long and to serve his purpose? That was like the one thing that I was raising my eyebrow about Michael's plan. Did either one of you have thoughts on that plot?
No, maybe I don't understand your question. What plot?
Like he tells Carlo, like, this is why I kept you around, to like kind of protect him and pull the information out of him, get him to admit who he sold out Sonny. Like, cause it was him who got Sonny killed. Right. In that scene. And then he finally pulled it out for him, and he's like, who did you deal with to get that hit? Yeah. I just didn't quite get it.
I think he was in that. I think he might have been like leveraging having Carlo on his good side, because obviously the other family was able to use him. So by not just like killing him off, that might have just sent a message to the other family that like, oh, they know it was Carlo, or they would have then found out that it was Barzini. Because I think he tells him it's Barzini, but it wasn't until that point that I think Michael knew that it was him specifically. So maybe that's like, he just wanted to keep him close because, hey, if I promote this guy, maybe he'll be like, oh, well, my family's treating me pretty well. Things are fine.
Or maybe like it would show that like he's weak, and maybe you can see that as like a strength for the other families. Okay. Whose turn is it?
Feels like me.
Yeah, Danny's number 2,
Feels
maybe.
Like me. Number 2, let's talk about Brando. For something that feels ingrained as one of the most iconic characters in cinema, I couldn't get over how much I really loved it. I didn't think that I would enjoy, because I feel like everything I've seen of him outside is just kind of not mocked, but it's just, it's people doing the voice, doing the hand gesture, dropping their jaw, make it kind of, but it feels like a joke. But so I thought it would more be like a caricature of himself watching this finally. I kind of loved him in this. I loved the opening day at the wedding in his office, not being able to, he has to take all the requests that come in, and that whole scene with him and Robert Duvall, and you're just getting the lay of the land of this family. Very well done. I mean, everybody, in the first, 10 minutes, exactly about Sonny, exactly about Fredo, exactly about Michael, exactly how Vito is, even Duvall, Tom. It's like an incredible masterclass of just character development so fast. And I was just glued to that entire office scene, taking the request, even not even like losing his cool when the guy comes in about, love, like the first shot, loving America, but my daughter was beat up. And why didn't you come to me with this when it was happening? Why are you just now coming to me now? I'm not going to kill this guy for you, et cetera, et cetera. Like but he's not like mad about it. There's this real calm presence. He's just larger than life. And I was in love with him in this film.
The one thing that was a shock to me was that first scene, the meeting he takes with Sollozzo. He's wearing that like brown suit.
It felt so out of
damn,
character.
What decade are we in? I
Yeah.
forgot what year we are.
I think I expected him to be in a tux this whole movie with the
me
red
too.
rose.
Me too. It was so strange to see him wearing anything else.
Yeah.
I love the scene of him in the garden when he dies. I remember hearing about this scene, like, oh, the garden scene. This is like another iconic scene. I think the first time I saw it, I was like, why is like this is like so important? But now I think it hit me more of just this, like, what a life that this guy lived, and how rare it would be for somebody to be in crime, to be a crime boss, and to go out like peacefully, pretty much like playing with your grandson in a garden. It's kind of like he won. Like he just like died on his own terms, and he won the game of life. He won, like he lived a crime boss life and died happy. But just even like that moment, like it's not important to what comes next or the plot. Of course, it's important that he dies, but just that there was like so much time spent in that moment with like his 3-year-old grandson of them, like it's such like a touching moment to have just like in the middle of this movie. And this movie has such a I don't know if like slow is the right word. I think it does feel slow. When I was like halfway through this, I went downstairs for something, and Jenna said, "How's the movie?" I was like, "Oh, it's great." And she's like, "Should I come up and watch it?" I was like, "I mean, it's great. I think you might like it. You know, I mean, it's a gangster movie and it's kind of slow." And I was like, "Well, I just said it's kind of slow in a gangster movie, so you probably shouldn't watch it." Like if I told her, she's never gonna want to watch this. But it does have like this slow pace, but it feels so good at the same time. Like nothing is wasted. I just love how it unfolds.
Another thing I wasn't even really prepared for also in this film, especially with Vito in a couple scenes, were how emotional he gets about his sons, even to the point of crying. Like I expected this macho movie, gangsters, all these tough guys, but there's so many moments where real emotion comes through when he finds out that Michael was the one that killed the the cop and whatever the other mob guy's name is. And he kind of does that kind of face with a little bit of a tear rolling down, and then standing over Sonny's body, the famous, "Look how they massacred my boy," or what. It's just, there's still like real raw emotion coming through these performances. And I honestly just didn't expect it. Even Tom's character, when everyone kind of thinks Vito's dead, Tom gets kind of weepy too. And it's like,
he turns his head.
I was not expecting that from these characters in this film. And it was very interesting. It also made it just, I don't know, feel more real. Like more of this this felt legit.
I'll take care of you now. I'm with you now. I'm with you.
Also, that baker who helped Michael at the front of the hospital, that guy's got to be a made man after that night, right? Like did he get an estate in Italy?
He got called. That was his. He got called up for his one favor he had to give back. Like the two guys that were off that had to give favors, both had to give favors.
Yeah.
In the film, the guy had to, make Sonny's body look not, presentable to his mom. And then you had the baker had to stand guard. They had to, call in their favors, and you see them, get that in the beginning, and then they had to come through in the movie. It was so great. I love that full circle for them.
And I love how the favor isn't like, we need you to kill somebody.
Right. It's just something very simple, but also big moments.
Oh yeah. My favorite scene is another scene between Vito and Michael, where I think they're sitting outside in the garden. That line from Vito where he says, I don't apologize. That's my life. But I thought that when it was your time, you'd be the one holding the strings.
Senator Corleone. Governor Corleone, something.
Another Pezzo 90.
Oh. This wasn't enough time, Michael. Wasn't enough time.
We'll get there, Pop. We'll get there.
And just that, that Michael would be, a senator or a governor, and they would make their family legit. And just like the grief and like just like that loss that Vito feels of like Michael was the one who was gonna in a way get out of this life. Like he was gonna push our family forward. But here you are, like life happens and that's not the way things played out. I just love that scene. I feel like it's such like a great buildup to where these characters are. And of course, like the Vito at the end of his life.
And you just said it, Slim, when he's with Vito and he says, "I'm with you now, Pop or Dad." I love how there's almost a double meaning where he means in the moment, but also he's with them now. Like he's no longer the outsider. He's in the family business now. And yes, I love it.
Bert, was that your number 2, that scene? Or do you have another one? Okay. My number 3, let's see. So when they got to Vegas, this leads into my 3, but when they got to Vegas and he's like trying to take over the casino and like almost sort of legitimize the family, I was like ready for more at that point. Like, oh God, what was the second movie about? Wasn't there flashbacks or something? So
Don't
I was like
spoil it for me.
I was trying to think of what happened. I couldn't remember really what happens in the second movie because I wanted to see like continue on, like, oh, what happens next for this family? So at my last note is the ending scene where his sister comes in and says, you killed my husband, admit it, you did this, why would you do this? And is it Diane Keaton who plays his wife?
Yeah.
Diane Keaton comes in and hears this. Also, there was a great moment in like that scene where Michael looks at Diane to almost like in like an unspoken motion, like, can you help out here? Can you handle her? Which I just loved. But she asks him, what did you do? Like, did you do this? And he shows his one emotion of anger in the entire journey so far. He's like, all right, I'll let you ask me one time ever about my business. And he lies to her.
Oh, God. Amazing.
I was like yelling at the TV. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought that they were going to like be in this together. I thought he was going to have this moment where like they're a family business. She's in. Like, I thought maybe they're like going to work together. They're going to be like, one of those couples. And Trainer says, technically he didn't kill him. So yeah, but like he could have let her in there, but he didn't. And he says, no, you're still separate from the affairs of this family. And, everyone comes in to kiss his hand at the end of the movie and she looks back. What an ending. What a friggin' ending. Yeah.
When she looks back and the door slowly closes, it's just the look on her face. Like she knew, but then she was like, I don't know. It was just amazing. What an amazing ending to this film.
Yeah. I mean, also, how do you not know, Diane?
Right. She knows.
Diane, have you heard anything about this family over the last however many years you've been associated with them?
Are you
Diane,
awake,
try
Diane?
bangs out, please.
Danny, number 3 point for the
Number
Godfather.
3, the finale, leading up to what you just said, him having all the crime bosses killed at that moment after the funeral. I was kind of in awe. Like, I feel like the storytelling in this entire movie was something I feel like I haven't witnessed before. And the layers and layers and layers of things going on top of this, when he's in the garden with his dad and he says the person that'll be the traitor will be the one that sets up this meeting, etc. And it ends up, you just watching it unfold and you see who the traitor becomes. And then it all plays out after the baptism and not the funeral, sorry, the baptism of his daughter, goddaughter. Just killing off the mob bosses one by one. I was just like, I wanted just to stand up and cheer. It was amazing.
How about Mo Green getting popped in the eye?
Right in the eyeball. And then
another great death.
The traitor at the very end when he just knows.
Yeah.
Tessio just knows it's over for him. And he just kind of calmly gets in the car. There's no fight over that. Like nothing. And it just, What a performance. What a piece of storytelling.
I love that scene because Tessio says, tell Michael it was just business. And then Sollozzo says that earlier too. He's like, he tells, I think, Robert Duvall's character, it's just business. But I feel like the difference is for them, it's business, but like for the Corleones, this is our family. Like for them, it isn't just business. It's something different, but they never actually say that, but it's communicated through just like their actions. So I love just that comparison of like these guys who get killed off, they're just doing it for business, to kill these guys, but it's different for the Corleones.
Yeah. Final point, Proto.
Oh, just the look of this. So the 4K, I want to say I was blown away by the 4K. I think the dark scenes looked incredible. Like there's some amazing lighting, and we hinted at this earlier. Man, there were some really gorgeous shots in this. But overall, I wasn't really like blown away by the look of the 4K. But the dark portions did look really good. I don't know. What did you guys think?
If you look on the discs, there's a whole section on the restoration process of this film. And while I don't know if 4K, when we think about it, how crystal clear and et cetera, new movies look in 4K. What they were doing with these 4K were just bringing out more details, and they were showing side-by-sides from the last restoration in 2007 from what they can do now. And it is kind of mind-blowing what they were able to accomplish. And there was a great side-by-side they show of, I can't think of the sister, her name, but her wedding dress. There's so much lace in that wedding dress and detail, and in the daylight shots outside, it's so blown out in the original footage. But in this, you can see the lace, and while it's not crystal clear, you are seeing much more detail, and I found that quite interesting. I think it really did look incredible. But especially the low light, dark scenes, it's fascinating.
Yeah, if we probably were used to, Yoli points out, it was Connie. If we were used to the 1080p HD version, like if we had watched this a bunch, I'm sure we would have maybe probably noticed a big difference. I think the main one that jumps to mind is Bridge on the River Kwai. When I watched a clip on YouTube, I don't even know, was that a digital 4K? It might have just been a 1080p restoration that they had done. And even like the previous version of that versus an updated restoration was like night and day of what they're able to accomplish and bring out some of the detail.
I think I took a photo. I'll share it in live chat of the dress.
Is it my turn for final? I think honorable mentions.
Yeah, look at that.
Honorable mentions and final thoughts. One of my other notes that I would definitely want to bring up was just the way Al Pacino runs with his arms. It's almost like his arms are like wings and they're catching wind. They just kind of like float next to him. Like it's very hard to describe, but it's a very noticeable run. Duvall is one of my favorite actors. I just always seem to forget every time I see him in a movie.
What a class act.
He is so good.
Yeah.
This is 5 stars. Easy.
Oh my.
Easy.
Yeah, I had it. I was riveted the whole time. I was drawn to the screen. Did look great in 4K. I watched a digital version, so I do not have the discs, but I greatly enjoyed watching the digital versions. Yeah, it lived up to the hype for me.
Yeah. Let me see. Honorable mentions. Sonny's character loved. And also I love Luca Brasi in this film. I bring up Luca because I watched probably every bit of behind the scenes that I could for this film this week. And there's a great 45-minute doc on how the mafia itself was heavily involved and the drama behind this, film even being made, the protests about stereotypes of Italian Americans being looped into all being a part of the mafia. And it was a big deal. And even, so much of the mafia was involved in how this was made, how it was filmed. They like even this, whatever the singer character was that wanted to be put in films, and the mafia had her, like the mafia even had their people put into this film. There's a few in the wedding scene. Luca Brasi, the actor, is actually a hitman from the mob. And the scene where you first see him practicing his lines is a literal scene where the guy is sitting there practicing his lines. And
It's amazing.
Francis just filmed it and then threw it into the film behind Kay and Michael. It's insane what he was doing in this film and what went on. And for me, this is easily a 5-star movie. I was blown away with every second of this film. And honestly, it's like a click away from being a top 4 movie. I honestly can't. I can't wait to watch this more. I can't wait to watch 2 and 3. I am shook by this film. I really am. It really consumed me this week. I really did. I mean, I couldn't watch enough behind the scenes of this.
And you got did you get the collector's box set?
The big collector's box set, the book, everything. I'm in. I'm all in. I get it. 3 middle-aged white guys love The Godfather. But,
do you believe it?
This was my first time watching it, and I'm just floored. I really am floored by this.
What a turn. Wait, because didn't you say you started this a couple times?
A couple times, bored out of my mind. And I'm just not in the right place. The Village has changed me. The podcast has changed me. It's just nice to be, I don't know. I sat down this with fresh eyes. I mean, this also, we probably started it years ago. I'm not the same person.
Sure.
There's some chatter in live chat right now. Just a reminder, we're going to give away that Movies Anywhere bundle to the comment of the night. And there has been made legal gambling in our Discord. People have been putting in their wagers to see what the overall star rating is. They can put some Vjoshis in on the line. And people are waiting now on Proto's rating for this film to see if they can cash out.
Oh boy. Honorable mentions. Someone did just mention, Yolian said, what about the bloody horse head scene? Another iconic scene. It's such a crazy scene. And, our good friend Vontmer, he actually read The Godfather, the book, and he talked about how, great it is. And that scene makes me want to read the book. Because I'm just so curious as to all the other stuff that must take place in the larger story that this is taken from. And that scene is just so insane. Just the way the guy even wakes up and realizing that feeling when you wake up and you're like, why am I soaking wet? And then you realize it's your kid peed your bed and you're sitting in their urine. But this, waking up and it's horse blood. It's so crazy. But I had a great time watching this. I like it more each time I see it. It is so iconic. And I'm at 4 stars.
Wow, 4 stars. I was wondering if we were going to get a 15 banger. When was the
next
last
time we cover it?
The Batman Forever effect.
The 75th anniversary.
How do you guys feel about doing 2? Because I've been making mention of doing 2.
Hankering in our DMs
to do 2.
The thing is,
doing 2.
You watch this one, we gotta watch 2. We gotta do 2.
Okay,
you guys don't even
through
know.
Leading Ladies.
Oh my God.
Let's get through Leading Ladies and let's pull the trigger and do 2.
What if we make 2 patron supporter exclusive? And we don't have to wait. Maybe we squeak in a Godfather 2 during Leading Ladies month.
You know what's funny about 2 is that's the De Niro one, correct?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
When they started sharing photos recently of their get together, the 50th anniversary, and I saw De Niro in the pictures, I was like, oh, he's in this. I was waiting for De Niro almost the whole time in this film. That's how little I knew.
I definitely want to watch 2. So it really depends on what we want to do.
Okay.
If we want to do it later, in May, or we do it sooner and just put it out for supporters. So we'll see.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk
with legal. We'll get with a board, VHS Village board, former Ian,
Former Ian, now disgraced.
former Ian, now Frog. Ian and Dale are the other members of the VHS Village board. We'll talk with them, have our own meeting.
Oh, and let me say that you mentioned V'ger. Yeah, so we have V'ger bets in the Discord. Anyone who's a patron can join the Discord and start making bets. Not only do we have bets for how many stars we're going to give it, but also now we have an over-under that you can bet on as well. And for Leading Ladies Month, I thought it would be fun. We thought it'd be fun if we did a giveaway for the V'ger bets. So for the month, the 4 movies that we cover for Leading Ladies, whoever wins the most V'ger coins at the end of those 4 episodes will be getting the Godfather 4K trilogy box set mailed to them. So the money is real this time. I mean, it's fake money, but the rewards are real.
What's the MSRP of this box set? Is this like $200, this thing? I mean, it's up there, right? It's pricey. Is it on the low end of $200?
This isn't the collector's. This is comes in the paper packaging.
You're going to be getting those mini sleeves that Roberto got rid of the box. He's just going to give you the sleeved 4K discs.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Marcy. The most masculine prize for Leading Ladies Month. We thought, bring balance to all things. I love it.
So just a reminder, Danny's picking the first episode, the first movie for Leading Ladies Month Volume 2 next week. We will be hearing from him at the end of this show. I'm excited. He says he just got a 4K discs of this movie, by the way.
I did.
So that's a tease. This movie is available in 4K. So we have some letters I think we want to get to.
Oh
I don't know
no.
if I should play this. I don't know if it's related. Shut it off. Can we cut this, Dale? Can we cut it? I don't know if I don't even know.
Pick it up.
I don't know if Batman called in, but I have a file to play. So it's not Batman, I don't think, but let's hear whoever's calling in, whoever you are, let's hear what you have to say.
When I was told that 70mm would go to The Godfather and tell the story of the attack on my life,
Oh my God.
the massacre of my sweet boy Santino, a good son, but a so-so Don, the meeting of the 5 families, the offers I would make, and of course the rise of Michael Corleone. The thought of it was sending me. 70mm is the Silvio Berlusconi of podcasts. And it brings me great joy and pleasure to see this establishment come together with the story of the Corleone family.
What is in the mouth right now, do you think, of Frodo or whoever this is?
Thank you, Danny, for creating my likeness in your signature style. Molto bene. And thank you, Slim, the Godfather, for the dials and tubes and levels. Maziovato and Brodo for doing the best impersonation you can on short notice. 70mm. May your next episode be a feminine episode. Grazie, buonasera.
What was in the mouth to replicate what we just heard, I ask? Is it tissues? Paper towels? Sammy's?
Yeah, it was paper towels.
Thank
May
you,
your
Don
next episode
Corleone,
Be a feminine episode.
for calling in
Amazing.
for our Godfather episode. What an honor. We do have some VMs and letters to get to, so let's get cracking. This one comes in from Sydney. You can leave us a letter VM at 70mmpod.com. Hello, 70mm Pod friends. I've been a listener from the start and finally felt the courage to write into the show. I just want to thank you guys for the endless entertainment and laughs you've given me. My job is cleaning pig pens for a living, and you have no idea how much I look forward to these episodes each week to listen during my work day. Here's my plea to you.
Uh-oh.
You should know that my top movies of all time are Moonstruck and Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Both movies have been mentioned extensively on the show and never done. When the final pick of Leading Ladies Month Volume 1 was neither of these movies, let's just say angry screaming in despair in front of a room full of pigs is not a good look for any sane human. With Leading Ladies Month Volume 2 coming in hot, I really hope you'll consider one of these two movies. Slim, I'm looking at you specifically to give me a ray of light in my shit-fueled workday. Thank you guys for your time and dedication to the podcast. That comes from Sid. That's a lot of pressure on me.
Mm-hmm.
I have talked about potentially choosing Kill Bill.
You have
I almost chose it, I think, for a previous, maybe no theme month, which I never want to ever do again. It was horrible.
Yeah, you're
for
so
me.
stressed.
Are you
And
picking it
Leading
now?
Ladies Month, maybe it's time for Kill Bill. But I don't know. I have another movie in mind.
Oh my.
I don't know if it's going to be Kill Bill. But that was a
Think of the
pretty good
pigs.
email to Sway. Sid, I'm sorry. Sid, join the Discord so if I don't pick Kill Bill, we can apologize to you. Please.
Yeah, you can bug him every day about it.
Let's see. We have an email in from Marcy, co-host of the Movie Mixtape podcast, BT Dubs. I watched The Godfather for the first time ever a couple years ago and was stunned at how amazing Robert Duvall is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I feel like no one ever talks about him. It's always about Brando or Pacino or maybe even James Caan. Side note for me, how about James Caan's hair in this movie? Another atrocious hairstyle. That's not in the letter. That's me talking. Back to the letter. So just wanted to send in some love for my favorite part of this movie, Bobby D. No, not Robert De Niro. I just realized what I did. As Slim likes to say, keeping it. Excited to hear what you all thought of Robert Duvall if you bring him up. Like I said, you're right, Marcy. Not enough love for Bobby D in this movie.
He's great. He's great in this.
Not enough.
Easy to be overshadowed by other fantastic performances.
So good. Let's go to a VM. Change it up. Got a few of those to get to. Kev.
Hey guys, Kev here. Well, just wanted to call in about The Godfather, What is there to say? I saw it in Dolby a couple weeks ago and it was at AMC here and it was absolutely incredible. The restoration, I hope you guys dig it, really, because it's just mind-blowing to me how beautiful it still looks. No matter how many times they remaster it, you can still find stuff that you're seeing for the first time after all these years. The actual reason I wanted to call is because this episode goes up Monday, March 28th, and March 29th is my first anniversary of joining the Discord. And I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for changing my life and introducing me to all these wonderful people that are listening right now, like cool kids on Thursday night. I'd be there with you, but playing Dungeons and Dragons with wonderful people I met because of your show. So I just want to send my love to you guys.
Wow.
While let me check the Discord here. Slim right now is roasting me for consuming too much stuff, and he's right. So there you go. Love you guys. Hope you like The Godfather. So glad you guys have that beautiful set, especially if you don't like The Godfather. Could you imagine? And have a great show. I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, and P.S. Bex is in the Dungeons and Dragons party with us, so you can't make fun of me. So,
excuse me, Bex. Wow. We have to learn about this via VM, that there's some kind of subgroup hanging out Thursday nights playing D&D or whatever night he mentioned. Kev also co-hosts the Austin Danger Pod. How many podcasts have sprung up in the last 2 years? I ask you. Pretty cool to see.
It's amazing.
I think Mikey P's in chat. I think Mikey P is like unofficially executive producer of the Movie Mixtape podcast. Dirk Feelgood. Ever heard of him? It's on that podcast as well. Next VM comes in from Jordan.
Hey, 70mm, Jordan here from the UK. First voicemail, but I had to get in touch about this one because What a journey. The Godfather, Al Pacino, Michael Corleone. Has there ever been a more heartbreaking character arc in American cinema? I would argue not, especially if you bring the part 2 into account, which you've got to cover, by the way. But yeah,
Thank you.
this movie is Al Pacino for me.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the 7 seconds before he pulls the trigger in the restaurant against McCluskey and Salozzo, it's possibly the finest piece of acting that I've ever seen. You can see him comprehend all the different outcomes that his life's going to change after that event. And yeah, it is just chef's kiss amazing. But talking about the filmmaking qualities of this movie, it's like saying Mozart was kind of good at piano. It's one of the best, the classiest, just beautiful cinema experiences that you can have. And that's my 2 pence, really. And one more thing, Danny Proto, you've got to reconsider Kubrick's The Killing Kid, because that film is a masterpiece. And it broke my heart to see you guys
what a throwback.
diss on it many moons ago now. It's still with me. It's still scarred me. But no, that's my 2 pence. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye now.
Jordan, thanks for the first time VM. Let's head to
Noir
Letterboxd.
journey.
Let's head to Letterboxd right now to see.
You never know when you're going to burn somebody. God.
Goodness.
Oh my God. 2 stars from Proto for The Killing.
Yeah, this was
Stanley
our Noir
Kubrick,
journey.
1956. Quite a review here. Pretty lengthy.
He was pissed. Proto was pissed.
I was.
The Noir Journey. Way back when. Let's see.
I don't think I have a letterbox up there because did not.
You were so
finish.
pissed.
Yeah,
I didn't finish
DNF.
it.
Sheesh.
All right,
DNF.
I'll go back. I'll go back just for you,
DNF.
Jordan.
For Jordan. Thanks for reaching out.
You asked for it.
You DNF'd The Godfather multiple times.
That's true.
And look at you now.
That's true.
More like Kubrick, says Art in chat.
We're gonna edit that.
Art's trying to get that Movies Anywhere bundle hard right now. Late show. Casey, are you paying attention? Let's see. We got Max, we got Kev, we got Jordan. I think we got all our VMs. I think we have one more. Steven sends in a letter. Hello to 70mm friends. It's Steven Asbiv on the socials, and I haven't written in a while. Tonight you're covering a top 10 movie for me, though, and I don't expect any of you to love it. Part of what I like about this movie is the close-ups on faces. From the beginning with, I believe, in America, to the close-up of Michael's battered face as he plans to kill the crooked cop in Salazzo, to the ending on Kay's bewildered face. This is a movie with beautiful shots of faces. There are wonderfully quotable lines in here and a great story about the link between crime and the American dream. I hope you enjoy this movie more than I expected you would. Meanwhile, once your Leading Ladies Month is over, I'd love to suggest a movie for you to watch together.
Godfather
It's the
2.
international animated documentary Flea. I'd love your thoughts on this interesting film. Meanwhile, hope you and the Possum crew are doing well. And that's Steven.
Thank you, Steven.
Thanks for the email, Steven. I have seen Flea's imagery. The one thing that I always think about when I see previews for Flea is I feel like it's Mikey P's art in that movie. Don't you get kind of like Mikey P vibes from the animation of that movie?
Yeah.
I need to check it out again.
The character faces for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mikey P, is there anything you want to tell us?
I feel sick just now finding out about this.
This is how we learned about Mikey P working in film and animation. All right, I think that is our final communique this week for the Godfather episode. So now we hear from Danny.
I love being the lead off for these months. No pressure, guys. Thanks.
Somehow it happens literally
I feel
every
sick.
month.
You guys are doing this. Okay, so I knew right away what I wanted to pick for Leading Ladies Month. It's a movie that I've been wanting to watch. And so a couple of the accolades, female director, it won Best Actress, it won Best Supporting Actress, and it won Best Screenplay, all women. Jane Campion's The Piano.
Oh my!
All right, nice.
I'm very excited. Now, it's only streaming on Showtime, so this is a purchase if you don't have that. But I did pick up the gorgeous Criterion 4K.
Oh, you dog!
It's a beaut.
$31 on Amazon right now.
Very excited about this film to talk about with you guys. Sam Neill's in it. Your boy, I can't think of his name. Harvey Keitel is in it.
Tight ass.
Wow.
So very excited
Great pick.
to talk about this with you guys. It stuck in my brain when we were seeing Campion versus Spielberg again in the Oscars, that this is what I wanted to watch, because this is what she lost. Was this what she lost to? I think I can't remember if she lost this one to Spielberg.
I think she won, I thought, for this one.
No, she didn't win Best Director. She won Best Screenplay. Oh no, I think this was the year for Silence of the Lambs sweeping.
I had this on my watch list for a while, and after seeing Power of the Dog, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch The Piano finally. But then I think it was pulled from the Criterion channel, and it wasn't streaming anymore, so I couldn't. So this is perfect. One off the watch list, baby.
Hey, yeah, I saw that you had on watch lists, but neither of you had seen it. So I'm very excited.
Great pick to kick off our journey. Some talk about a Mikey P VM. Where was it sent to? All right, here we go. He just sent it again. Thank you, Mikey. Okay. I searched Michael. That didn't come up, for the record.
That's not his real name.
Let the record show.
Hey now, my boys, talking The Godfather, and by now you've probably eviscerated it. This is one of the rare movies I maybe watched 200 times, but I don't think I've rewatched in the last 20 years. One of the things I still remember is a scene which preceded when you had to change out the big box double VHS tape to continue watching. Remember this little facet of watching long movies? Right after the restaurant scene where Michael hides in Italy, you switch out for tape 2. And I hate that this is still a weird, useless fact that I still retain. Newer generations will maybe never know. I kind of wish digital streaming could include this for fun, maybe. Side note, I'm really begging for DVD menus to be added to streaming somehow again. Anyway, wondering if you remember any other scenes before having to make a VHS or DVD switch? Or is it just me that still remembers all these dumb, trivial things in my dumb brain? Okay, love yous.
Love yous, Mikey. That was probably one of my favorite quotes from the movie. Oh. Sorry. Didn't mean to talk over Mikey P's exit quote. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. I wrote that down. Hardcore.
Yeah, great line.
I don't remember switching out VHSs, but I definitely remember switching out DVDs for Lord of the Rings extendeds.
Remember when two-sided DVDs were a thing? You got the widescreen and the full screen.
Oh, yeah, full screen, widescreen. I do remember that.
I remember switching out Spartacus. We had that on VHS. Had to swap that out.
Titanic, maybe?
Ben-Hur. Wasn't was 10 Commandments too? Probably too.
I have 10 Commandments. As of looking at it, it's a double VHS.
I need to go back and watch the 4K of the 10 Commandments. That came out since we did our episode.
Oh, yeah.
Are we doing 10 Commandments again?
10 Commandments Redux.
I'm trying to see what all my double VHSs are. Sound of Music.
Did Casey choose a winner for our Movies Anywhere bundle just yet? Let's go through the 5 movies again real quick from our friends at Movies Anywhere. Dipped into our DMs. We're talking about West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, Belfast, King Richard, and episode 91 itself, Dune. Also, we should call out about Danny's art getting spotlighted on the Dune movie Instagram and Legendary.
Legendary pictures.
And
that
Twitter
was wild.
too, I think, right? They've spotlighted your
Twitter,
work.
Instagram. It was one of those Dune, the official account, like slid into my DMs and was like, hey, can we share your art? I'm like, excuse me? Yes, please. So yeah, they shared a couple pieces that I did that week leading up to our Dune episode. Tagged me. Got a lot of great interactions from that. It was nice.
Yeah, they were like, love the episode you guys did, episode 91. So much fun listening.
Thank you for being opinions. Honest,
transparent,
very fresh takes on this movie. So they're really kind about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we nailed it.
Mikey P wins the Movies Anywhere bundle. Sorry, Casey. Yes, it should not always be you to be the judge for the Movies Anywhere bundle. I have to stay up all night. I apologize. Mikey P wins the bundle.
Happy birthday, Mikey.
Happy B-Day. 50 years young, Mikey P. He's still got it after all these years. Proto, take us out into Leading Ladies Month. Get these man movies out of here. We need a break.
Get them out of here.
We need to shine a light elsewhere.
Enough with The Godfather, all right? This idol in men's life, the God. But let's carry with us the fact that everything they said about family in this is true. Thankful to have many different families in my life. You know, the one that you're born into, the one that you find along the way, and then even this one, the 70mm family. So thank you for everybody who listens and is a part of this family. Love you guys.
Jane Campion, the piano, next week. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large, Dale_A. Transcripts provided by Sophie Shin and music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.